What makes me have sleepless nights is when you don't have everyone that feels the same way on your club. Like, it's times where I wish I was like a tennis player or a golfer, where it was literally like, look in the mirror, mother is you versus you.
He's smart, a tennis player or a golfer, but not a boxer, Perk. LeBron's not stupid. Okay, listen, that is big Kendrick Perkins, and I got Timmy Good Times, Tim Bontemps with me. Perk, I'm going to start with you. Is LeBron sending anyone in particular a message here? And if so, who's he sending it
to? The entire Lakers organization, including, Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis. Look, LeBron James is all about championships. He's lived in the finals. Matter of fact, he has a house there. He has real estate there. He's been there so many times. So when I think about LeBron James and I think about my, me sharing the locker room with him, I know that he's not a guy that's gonna go out vocally and cause controversy in the locker room. He's not that type of dude. He leads by example. Now, I will say this to one particular individual, and that's Russell Westbrook. Now, past LeBron James' comments, Russell Westbrook have to be very, very careful on how he handles this season. With the firing of his agent, and now all of a sudden going into his last season of his contract after the season he displayed last year, he have to be careful because this is a make-or-break season for him. Like, we could possibly see Russell Westbrook going down the same path as Carmelo Anthony if he don't buy into being or taking a lesser role. And that means that he might get humble because organizations around the league don't value Russell Westbrook of old like of the old Russell Westbrook. They see it a lot differently. So he has to show the world that he's able to take a lesser role.
It's not the Westbrook of old, it's old Russell Westbrook. What do you think,
right.
Tim?
Well, look, I think to Perk's comments about LeBron, while that's certainly true about Russ at the end, to me, this is a very coordinated message by LeBron, as he said to the Lakers organization, that this team is not good enough for LeBron to get where he wants to go, which, as Perk said, is to win more championships, right?
Or at least get there, Tim, let's be fair.
Right, maybe make the playoffs.
He doesn't always win, but he gets there.
Right, and if you look at this team right now, it is clearly not good enough to be a contender in the Western Conference. They're a contender to be in the play-in tournament. That's really where this roster's at, even with Anthony Davis. That's how weak the rest of the team is around him. LeBron James knows that. That's why he's saying, hey, it'd be nice if I was playing by myself, one-on-one. I'd probably take LeBron over just about anybody even still, but you take the rest of the team together with him, you look at these contenders out west, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And that's why, as you see this whole coordinated thing, playing in the Drew League, the shot comes out the same day. This is a message from LeBron James saying, hey, I'm still here. I'm still really good, but we need to get more around me to get where I want to go. And as we stand here right now, the Lakers aren't good enough.
But Perk, Tim, Perk, I'll address this to you. Like, you call me like a stupid media guy or fan, but I just take a step back and look at the big picture. LeBron doesn't say things publicly just to do it, right? He sends messages. And and when you say he does things passive aggressively, he sends them, publicly, but doesn't address people directly a lot of the time in the press. Okay, he and Westbrook are in the same place at the same time, but they don't get together. They're in the building together, but they're not together. Westbrook and his agent part ways, and his agent says, well, look, a team has given up a boatload to get him. This time, they need to attach value to move him. I don't think it's a good idea for him to move, and he felt otherwise. I mean, the implication is maybe Russell Westbrook did want to go somewhere, Perk. So, to me, it sounds like LeBron's addressing Westbrook here. He's addressing Russ here.
Well, it's everybody, Max, and it's including Russ. I mean, just think about a lot of, post-game interviews. Russell Westbrook, he didn't take a lot of accountability. That's what I was mad at him for last year. He wasn't accountable for the poor play he had. And one thing we know about LeBron James, right? He's very active on his social media. We know all that. And he don't miss anything. He may not comment on everything, but he sees it all. And so when I went to the point of saying, if Russell Westbrook is not traded, which, Max, you hit it right on the point, that's the reason that him and Thad parted ways is because Russell Westbrook won out. And Thad was telling them, no, man, this is not going to be good for you in the future. You have to stick it out with Darvin Ham and the Lakers and show them that you could take a lesser role.
All right, so Tim, explain to me where I'm wrong about this. Westbrook is considered a liability on the books, but I see him as a potential asset, particularly by the trade deadline. He makes $47 million, and then it's off the books. Now, there must be teams in the league with 2 players each in the 20s or 3 players in the high teens that are nice players, but it hamstrings the team a bit. They can't make moves they want to make. The contracts extend into the future. But if those kind of players go to a team that already has superstars, they could be useful. At the deadline, especially when you have to pay him very little after that, doesn't he actually have trade value? If LeBron and AD can hold down the fort, couldn't Westbrook fetch 2, 3 useful veterans at the trade deadline?
Probably not, for a couple of reasons. The biggest one is he just makes too much money. Like, if you're trying to put $47 million together, like, it's hard to find 2 or 3 guys that make that much money, let alone 2 or 3 guys that a team wants to trade, let alone 2 or 3 guys they want to trade to not get extra value back, right? So, yeah, maybe they could turn Russell Westbrook with the 1 or 2 for unprotected picks they have left into a couple of guys. But the Lakers are trying to balance. Right now, if I'm speaking as the Lakers probably know this team as it stands right now is not good enough to really contend in the West.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.